Hello, and welcome to episode 43 of the Stitching Over the Days podcast. My name is Constance, and I want to take a moment to thank any new viewers and also returning viewers for taking a moment to enjoy this episode and hear all about my knitting, sewing, and crochet adventures. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as cleocmc, that's CLEOCMC. There's also a Ravelry group, Stitching Over the Days, and there is a blog with the show notes, yarningoverthedays.wordpress.com. Well, I did not mean to take that long of a break between podcast episodes, but life happened and interrupted. I was enrolled in a class, which took quite a bit of not like heavy workload, but it did require my time and attention. Then I also had to go home for family matters, and that trip was extended to about a month and a half, longer than I anticipated to stay home. And while I did take a knitting project with me while I was at home, I didn't work on it as actively as I usually do on projects. So therefore, I don't have much to share with you today. Despite my long break, I do have 2 finished objects to share with you. And I'll share with you my current work in progress. And because I think that the episode won't be that long, I may share with you a haul of some recent yarn purchases that I made because unfortunately our local yarn store is closing. And I did make some purchases during their closeout sale. And so I'll share that with you all also. So I just want to go ahead and get started. And we'll follow the same layout of the podcast as usual. I'll start with the finished objects. Then we'll move into the works in progress. And finally, I'll just have a little chatter and haul. And all of the twirls and so you can see the finished objects, it'll be at the end of this episode. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first project that I finished was the tri-cable stitch jumper. I believe I shared my progress in the last episode of this project, and this is a design by Susan Crawford. It's from her A Stitch in Time book, volume 2. And there's the jumper there, so beautiful. I love the cables. This was a really nice project to work up because even though you have cables throughout the garment, it's a very easy cable pattern, and it doesn't require a cable needle to work up the cables, so that was really nice also. And also you can easily memorize the stitch pattern because I think it was about 8 rows for the stitch pattern, so you're working the cables on 2 of those 8 rows, and so it's pretty simple. And I used the Pearl Soho linen quill in the color Rhubarb Pink, and I just love it. I absolutely love it. I love the linen quill because you can see those like undertones or those flecks of white, and it gives it kind of like a tweedy look. Now when I wear the cardigan, as you'll see in the pictures, I tend to cuff them sleeves because they were like too long otherwise. And if you look on the Ravelry page of this project, you'll see that one of the versions that was worked up and the model, hers are cuffed also. Let me see. But this version, her sleeves aren't cuffed. But I think it looks really great cuffed also, and that's how I wear it. I have gotten a bit of wear out of it, and I like it because this yarn is definitely a great summer or warm weather yarn because it's really light, but I really like that it still gives a nice definition to the stitch pattern, I want to say, or to the cardigan. And I just love it. Now these buttons, they were in my stash, but I think they worked out perfectly for the cardigan. You can see they're really simple buttons, but I like them. Is there anything else that I wanted to say about it? No, I didn't have any problems or any issues. This is a seamed garment, and so I like that it was worked up in pieces because I think that recently I've been leaning more and more towards seamed garments. I mean, I don't mind working up seamless garments, but maybe I've gotten spoiled by working up the pieces because they're not as like cumbersome to carry or to have around, whereas when you're working up seamless garments, they start to feel really heavy or bulky after a while when they're sitting on your laps. but with seam garments, you know, you can work in pieces. And I did use back stitch throughout. Let me think. I think that also before I seamed the garment, I blocked the pieces. So I used the Eucalyptus wash. I think that's what it was called. And I soaked each piece, and then I let the pieces, you know, block and dry. And I find that it makes for easier seaming when the pieces are all nice and neat and flat, because then I could seam it more easily, because, you know, you don't have any like curled edges or anything like that. And I use back stitch throughout to seam the entire garment, but I'm really pleased with it, and I quite love it. Let's see how we're doing on time. Okay. And so that is that garment. I have plans to make another garment from Susan Crawford's A Stitch in Time in the future. The yarn is on the way, and I'll share that with you in the next episode. But I think it'll be perfect for the summer, the garment that I have plans to work up. And it's a short sleeve, of course, like vintage style top. But yes, I'm trying to delve deeper into that, A Stitch in Time books, because there are so many gorgeous designs, and it really makes no sense that this is my first design from the collection, my first time working up a project from the collection, despite me loving so many of the designs. So hopefully I'll continue to work from those books. So my next project is, of course, by one of my favorite designers, and that's Kim Hargraves. I'm actually wearing it today. And this is from her Honey collection. Last summer I worked up a garment from the Honey collection. I worked up the Sherry cardigan, which was a nice like summer short sleeve cardigan. Let me see if I have a picture of it. And I worked it up in this like in green. So that's what I worked up last summer. And this is one of my favorite collections by Kim Hargraves. The designs are so pretty, and they're perfectly in my style. So this was another one that I had in my queue for a while, and I decided to work it up. It's a really simple, nice summer top, but I really like the feature of the button, so it gives it the feel of a cardigan, which I love cardigans. And so I used the Pearl Soho Season Alpaca, and the color is Blue Pansy. I did get gauge, if I'm not mistaken, with the recommended needles. Check my Ravelry to be sure. I also want to say that for the tri-cable stitch jumper, I did get gauge also with the recommended needles. And it's funny because I immediately went down a needle size like I would usually do for the tri-cable stitch jumper, but I didn't get gauge, and then I went to the recommended needles and I had a perfect gauge. So that's funny. Now this project, as I was saying, as you can see, I'm wearing it, but I'll stand up still. It's mainly stockinette, but you have this little kind of eyelet feature here on the bottom hem, and that same eyelet is like on the little cap sleeves also. But other than that, it's a stockinette garment, but it has some really nice shaping in the garment, which I really love. And so the shaping, I think, and also the eyelet detail keeps things interesting. So it's not like a completely mindless, like, well, it can be a bit mindless. I shouldn't say mindless, or where you don't have to concentrate as much, but it's not like a completely just boring project. For example, the blank sweaters, now you can get in the zone with those sweaters. Those are like all stockinette, except for I think they had the ribbing for the cuffs. But yeah, but this one, it keeps it interesting, and it's a super quick project. And what I loved the most from working up this project was the yarn. It's so amazing. I think that the color is just so beautiful. It's so vivid, and has like undertones of purple. If you look at I tried to do a close-up picture so you can see those undertones really nicely. But yeah, it's a really simple and easy project, and I chose it because at the time I had a lot going on, and I just didn't have time for a more complex project that required me looking at a chart or something like that. And so I was able to work on it quite easily, and I really just like the result. And I think that I know that I'm going to get a lot of wear out of it because it's just so simple. Yeah, it's really elegant. I like it a lot. I really also like the garter stitch button band, which Kim Hargraves used that feature a lot with her designs. Let's see, check my notes. Yeah, and it doesn't require much yardage. I had quite a bit of yarn left over, almost a full skein left over, so I need to figure out, you know, something or scrappy project to do with that yarn. But yeah, that is all I have to say about it, because I mean, it's just so simple, it was so easy, and it was such a nice garment to work up that it's just one of those projects that's not too complex. Okay, I wanted to share with you my current work in progress, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so my current work in progress is from the latest issue of Rowan magazine, which is issue 69. Look at that cover design, so beautiful. That's made with the lace yarn, fine lace, Rowan fine lace if I'm not mistaken. But that's not the project that I'm working up. So this issue is like, oh my goodness, it's one of my favorite issues because it has so many like designs that I really like the kind of vintage silhouette and shapes. And then there was like an entire section that featured the Rowan Soft Yak DK, which is one of my favorite yarns. Currently I only have one cardigan that I worked up in that yarn, which I love, which is my Harton cardigan by Kim Hargraves. But currently I'm finally doing another cardigan with the Rowan Soft Yak DK, and I'm using the, is it Pampas color? It's like this orange color, and I chose it because it's been oh, it's getting so dark outside, like it's about to storm. But I chose it because it's been a long time since I worked up an orange garment, and I did complete the bag, and I'm loving it. Oh, I guess I should share with you all the picture in the magazine first. So this is a design, it's called Lynn by Martin Story. And the entire section has so many beautiful designs. But I chose this one again because, oh, it's like a very simple garment, and I was needing a very simple garment to work up. But it has the lace yoke and also the lace at the bottom. And so, this is what I have so far. Oh, one thing I love about the like Rowan Soft Yak DK, I'm not sure if it's coming through on the screen, but it has like this pearlescent sheen to it, but you see the undertones of like the yak, which is so beautiful. One thing I will say is like I have pictures of on my Instagram and also on Ravelry of the work in progress, and this stitch pattern, which I'm not sure what it's called, but it tends to kind of have a bias. And so it kind of leans, which if you look at the garment when I lied it flat, it kind of wants to lean that way. And so I did press it because, you know, with the Soft Yak DK, to smooth things out, you the instructions tell you to press it. So I did press it with the pressing cloth over the garment, and that did help things out, and it helped it to lie a bit more like smoothly, but it still kind of wants to tilt that way. So I'm hoping that when I do the left front and the right front, I'm hoping that the bias will balance out once I seam it all together. I'm not sure. I don't think the garment is going to look lopsided or anything like that. The stitch pattern is really easy to memorize, and it's actually quite fun also, and I think it gives it a beautiful effect. Let me see if I can get a close-up. And so I'm really looking forward to completing it. I think I need to go though to the craft store or to look online because I want to get some really beautiful buttons for it, even though I may have something in stash. So currently I am on the left front of the cardigan, and I now just need to, I'm at the part where I need to complete the lace at the top, which I'll do tonight because I completed the armhole shaping. So I just need to do the lace. And as I was stating, this is the Soft Yak DK in the Pampas color. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's one of my favorite yarns. All of the colors and shades of this yarn are so beautiful. I recently shared in my Instagram stories like a haul of the Rowan Soft Yak DK that I have because, as I was saying, I took advantage of the sale at my local yarn store. And so I first I'm working that up. But I wanted to show you some of the gorgeous designs. Like in this issue, like Martin Story has an entire like collection with the soft yak DK. Let's see. And you can get an idea of everything that's in this collection. And so I have plans to work up. Next, I want to do a pullover. I realized somebody's car is going off. So I realized that I've been doing a lot of cardigans lately. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do the pullover next, but I do have the yarn to do this gorgeous cable cardigan. And look at that. Oh, I just love the shape of it. It's so boxy, but it's really nice, and it's just so lush. And I think it'll look great with like jeans and leggings, and even more so like loose and casual dresses. Another design I have plans for. Oh, well, should I share the yarn? I didn't bring it over here, but the yarn for the boxy cabled cardigan, I want to do it in the blue terrain color. And for this, I'm going to do green. I just love that vest. Look at that cable detail. And also have plans for the pullover, which I think is one of my favorites out of the collection. Oh, so beautiful. And for the pullover, I want to go with the kind of gold color, or maybe the purple. I still haven't decided. I have the yarn for a purple and for the like gold color, so I'll make a decision. And so those are the designs that I have plans to work up from this collection along. But this entire issue, like, I'm thinking I really want to make this. This is by Georgia Farrell, and I saw somebody worked it up in orange. And I do have enough yarn in my stash of the Summer Light DK to work up this, and it just looks so nice, and it has a vintage silhouette. I also have the yarn to make up Lisa Richardson's project. It is so beautiful, and I think that this project, even though it's a cotton yarn, I know that it'll transition perfectly. Oh, it's getting so dark. It's about to storm. Yeah, it started raining. But I think that this garment will transition perfectly into the fall. So look at this, you guys. Hopefully the rain isn't too loud. But I want to, so this is the yarn colors that I went with. Like this deep purple. And then the contrast will be this vintage pink. I think that that'll go together perfectly. And I also just picked up like a lot of the Summer Light 4-ply. So I picked up like this green color for a cardigan. Also, did I bring it over here? Yes, I have plans for some designs in the recent releases of Kim Hargrave's books. I hope it's not too loud. And so these recent collections by her are so inspiring. They're so beautiful. But I like this project. It's really simple, but something about it is just calling to me. And I want to make it up in a turquoise color. And that's with the Rowan Alpaca. Yeah, I just think it's the Rowan Alpaca Classic. And there's also this little cable cardigan that I'm loving. And let me share it with you. So for that cable cardigan, this is the yarn that I have for it. So beautiful. And this is called Golden Girl. And for that really simple top I just shared with the like ruffled hem, I want to make it in this color, which is called, oh, the color isn't on it, but it's kind of like a turquoise color. Also, there's this like really relaxed fitting. I'm really like flocking more and more to the like relaxed fitting like cardigans and sweaters, because I find that they work really well also. And there's this design in this collection, her winter collection, that I absolutely love. And it is called Nippy. I guess when it's a little nippy outside, then you would wear it, and that's perfect because I want a cardigan like this when it's like nippy in the morning, and I would take Sarabi out and I'm doing little walks and stuff because I think that is perfect. Oh, I just love that. It looks so cozy. And the yarn that I have for that is the dusk color. It looks really close to the color that's sampled, but it's not. I think that the color in the book is soft satin, which I did use for my niece's sweater in that color, but I think that this pale pink is perfect. It'll be quite versatile. I actually have a larger haul than what I've just shared with you all, but I could go on and on talking about my plans for future projects, but because I had a little time today, I decided to share with you what I plan to do in the future, and I hope that I have even more so to share with you next month because it's getting so dark and kind of scary out there. I think I'm going to end the podcast here, and I'll hopefully be back really soon to share with you my land cardigan. And I also haven't sewn in quite a while, so I really want to sew. I want to use my recent Rifle Paper Company fabric, and so I want to make up a dress in that fabric, and I hope to share that with you all in the next episode. Well, that will conclude today's episode, and I'll see you all later. Bye.